If you want to see me transform a yard that is full of weeds into a yard that has virtually no weeds and tell you exactly how I do it, as a matter of fact, just show you what to do, then this is the video for you. Today's video is sponsored by Graham Spray Equipment. This is my Graham Spray Rig, 400-gallon split tank. They've got other types of tanks as well, but if you need a spray rig for your business, go to grahamse.com or give those guys a call. So let me set the stage here. It's April and we're in Alabama, and this is a zoysia lawn that has not been very well taken care of, at least recently. And let me just show you all the weeds that are in this area. You scan through here and see all these weeds in the lawn. Now, I'm not too worried about these. These are gonna be easy to kill. I'm planning on dominating them. Even this big nasty onion or garlic or whatever, it'll go away pretty soon. With the heat. And this is a newer part of the lawn. The part that's more established definitely still has plenty of weeds in it, as you can see as I walk, but nothing like the other part. So let's look over here on the other side of the yard and see what it looks like. I want to move this clematis out of the way because I don't want to kill it on accident. Over here, just got a little bit of grass, so no big deal. So let's talk about the plan. Because we're in April, what I want to do is go ahead and spray the weeds in this yard, and I'm going to spray post-emergent and pre-emergent combination and try to knock out these weeds. And what I'm doing by that, I want to try to knock out the weeds that are here, but I try to also get ahead of some of the weeds that haven't germinated yet. And on the fertilizer, I want to show you and talk about that for a little bit. I'm going to show you two types of fertilizer I have in my truck right now. This is a 3805. The other one I have is a 3808. Now the one I'm using on the zoysia lawns is this 3805, and let me show you what it looks like. It's actually 100% slow release. So the 3808 over there has some fast release fertilizer in it, and it has this is Harold's polymer coated fertilizer they call Polyon. And the illustration that was shared with me is it's kind of like a tea bag, meaning that if you were to put a tea bag in cold water, not a lot happens, but if you start warming the water up, then it starts releasing the tea into the water to make something that you would drink. Well, same thing with these polymer coated fertilizer. If you put this out in cold weather, it doesn't do a whole lot, but as the weather warms, it begins releasing the nutrients that are inside. Well, the coating on here, the polymer coating, can be different. They can put more or less coating on this fertilizer. So this one actually has a thicker coating, meaning it's going to last longer. Now, the thicker the coating, typically the more expensive it's going to last. But the 3808 has does not have as thick of a coating. So and some of it's going to depend on the rate that you put it out at. So I'm putting a bag of this out for about every 7,500 square feet, which is a pretty high rate. But because of the thicker coating, it's literally going to feed the grass the entire growing season. Where I could do the other fertilizer, where the 3808, I could put it out at the same rate and it wouldn't last as long because it has a thinner coat and it's going to release the nutrients faster. What I've decided to do is use the thinner coat on my Bermuda lawns, but I'm doing it twice per year. I'll put it out in March, get me through a few months, and then come back like late May or maybe in June and put another dose out of a similar fertilizer to carry me through the growing season. On these zoysia lawns, which typically don't require quite as much nitrogen as a Bermuda lawn, I'm using this 3805, and I'm just doing it one time, and it's going to feed it the whole time. Now again, it's a more expensive bag, got to put out a heavier rate, but I only got to spread fertilizer one time. So we're going to do it on this lawn, and as the weather's warming up and I get rid of these weeds and they start mowing the grass, I think we're going to see an amazing transformation on this lawn. So let me put this, because it's a small lawn, I'm just going to use my little chest-mounted sprayer. And in the tank, I've got quinclorac, which is my post-emergent product for crabgrass. Now, being a zoysia lawn, I doubt there's that much crabgrass in there, but I've already got it mixed up in my tank because I sprayed a Bermuda lawn earlier, which does have potential to get a lot of crabgrass in it. Also got Changeup and Metsulfuron is the two post-emergents I got in there for broadleaf weeds, and then I've got Prodiamine to help with any weeds that haven't germinated yet. So I'm gonna spray that combination, I'm gonna fertilize, and then we're gonna come back and check on this lawn and show you the progress. Hopefully have a nice looking lawn for you soon. I got the yard sprayed. Let's put the fertilizer in the little chest mounted spreader. Walk around this yard, get that done. I'm ready to get home. It's almost dinner time. All right, I'm gonna finish up this yard. We'll check back on the results and see how it's progressing. It's been 1 month since we did the application on this lawn. We sprayed the weeds and we fertilized the grass. And I actually drove by here a couple of weeks ago, so it was on about 2 weeks after the lawn. And I saw the lawn, I was like, wow, that thing is looking good. But I gave it a little bit more time. Now I'm back 1 month from the day when we went and actually did the treatment on the yard. So let me show it to you. I'm pretty excited about what it looks like. I think it looks great. All right, here it is. I know it's still early May, so the color is just not quite what we're going for yet, because the color is definitely improved since the last time. And unfortunately, we've been down in the low 40s. I say unfortunate for the grass, I don't mind it, but it's been going down in the low 40s. So we're not there with the color yet. Give it another month, this color is gonna start to pop. But compared to what it was, it's looking a lot better now. But what about the weeds? You remember this yard from a month ago, it had weeds all in it, and that application absolutely wiped them out. Now, I knew it was gonna be a lot of easy to control weed. You can see here what looks like was some type of weed there is all that's left. Now there's a little bit of burn weed. There might be a weed or two here. Oh, well, we got the nutsedge, which is going to be an annual problem. It's going to keep popping back up. I say annual problem, maybe I should have said a perennial problem. It just comes back every year, and we'll deal with that with Pro Sedge or Certainty, something like that. Actually, this yard's got a lot of nutsedge. That's not good. Anyway, good bit of nutsedge I'll be spot treating. But all the weeds that are in this yard, for the most part, we have taken care of those. Now, what's left is where they took out some crepe myrtles. You're going to get these crepe myrtle sprouts probably for the next 70 years or so. That's just an estimation, but those are hard to get rid of. But just want to pan and let you see what the yard looks like, because I'm very happy with the results I'm seeing on this yard. Now what I want to do in this video, instead of extending out another month, which I could extend this out for another month and come back and show it to you nice and green, which I believe it will be at that time with the warmer, consistent weather. But instead of dragging the video out, just picture it being greener if you can. But let's talk about what we're going to do moving forward with this particular lawn. What I'm going to do, so the fertilizer I put out on this zoysia lawn, that was kind of a one and done. It's a slow release fertilizer that should continue feeding this lawn throughout the growing season. So I'm kind of good on that in my mind. Now, could you put more fertilizer out later? Of course you could, and maybe get a little bit darker green color, but I think it's going to get some green color to it with the warmer temperatures. What I want to focus on now moving forward, as we get into May and June, I want to put a grub control product down on this lawn. Now, the active ingredient I'm going to be applying to my zoysia lawns is a product called imidacloprid. Now, you might find that under the product name Merit, M-E-R-I-T. I'm not going to spell imidacloprid, but that's the active ingredient that we're going to use for the grub control. Now, my understanding of grubs, at least in our area, I'm in the Alabama area, so if I put that down in May or June, hopefully that's when I'm going to be able to get those grubs while they're still young and easier to kill in the lawn. Now, what happens if you don't control the grubs? Well, it's possible as they get larger and it starts moving toward fall, then they're feeding on the roots of your lawn, and what can happen is your lawn then goes into winter with a weaker root system. We get a cold winter, you might end up with some winter damage. Now, lawns can sustain some level of grubs, but too many grubs can be a problem. And on a zoysia lawn, it's not going to recover nearly as fast from the grub damage as, say, a Bermuda lawn would. Now, we already showed you the nutsedge, and when I do the grub control, I'll probably spot treat the nutsedge, maybe come back later, spot treat the nutsedge. I do use Certainty and Celsius. That's the name of these two products that I mix together often in the summertime. And the Certainty is a great sedge product. To my knowledge, I don't know of a sedge product that will actually kill the nut sedge, but you can use Pro Sedge, you can use Certainty. Those are great products that can help suppress the nut sedge, and I mix Celsius in there with it. That way if there's any broadleaves, I can spray that, just walk over the yard one time with that combination. I'll usually take care of almost any weed in a warm season lawn. There could possibly be other weeds popping up in the lawn like spurge, like chamber bitter, things like that, Virginia buttonweed. These warm season weeds we're gonna have to deal with. This lawn was a little bit different schedule than my normal lawns. Normally, I've been applying a product called Spectacle in May, and that's going to help with a lot of those warm season weeds. Because I was really late on the pre-emergent on this lawn, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to do the grub control, spot treat any weeds that I see, and as we move into the fall, I'm going to get that fall pre and post emergent combination down using Spectacle, using 2,4-D probably, and using Simazine, mixing those together, spraying on this lawn, and that's going to keep a lot of those summer weeds that we started this video out with, and that's going to keep a lot of the spring weeds that we saw in this lawn out next spring with that pre-emergent in the fall. And in the wintertime, I'm gonna add lime to this lawn. We live in an area where we have acidic soil, so we add lime that helps raise the pH to a level that's better for growing turf. And then we'll be back to January adding a pre and post emergent again to help with the summer weeds, and this yard will be back on the regular schedule. I wanted to show you what kind of transformation you have in just a month. Again, it was a lot less time than a month. I drove by here and it's a week or two after the application, and it looked virtually like this, and you can picture the green colors coming soon. Hopefully these videos are not only satisfying for you to look at, to see the transformation, but also trying to teach you the process and explain to you exactly what I'm doing to get the results we're getting on these lawns. I appreciate you watching. If you want to get into weed control and fertilization like me, you can go to lawncarelife.com. There's the Weed Control and Fertilization Academy. There's also pricing charts and things like that. Also, we got the 2024 Lawn Care Life Conference coming up in February 2024. Excited about that. There is a link on the lawncarelife.com website for that. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Creel. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys in the next video.